Another devastating storm heading straight for the Philippines. A storm surge of 7 meters is in store for people there as Super Typhoon Mangkhut roars ashore. It's just hours away from making landfall. John Northcott's following the latest details on Mangkhut. How is the Philippines preparing for this?
Rashmi, they have been through typhoons before. In fact, they've had 10 already this year, but this is a situation where the size of this really is remarkable. Some 900 kilometers across, basically from Quebec City to Windsor. Imagine the size of that coming up to hit what they feel now will be the northern part of Luzon, the main island of the Philippines. Now, this is a situation where they are preparing, they are evacuating, they are doing the best they can, but the areas we're talking about here, the coastal areas, of course, could be affected by what they're expecting could be an enormous storm surge. Inland, in the higher ground, places you'd go to escape the coast, there are worried, for example, things such as mudslides, concerned about that. And this is also the breadbasket of the country, where they have so much of the corn and the rice is grown, and they're really concerned as well, having survived this, that there will be difficulty getting food and create inflation problems. And of course, as we know, in countries when people run out of staples like rice, there can be all sorts of problems in terms of people feeling safe and people taking to the streets to make their case. Okay, so this is 3,500 Canadians in the path of this storm. Compare that to some 400 in the Carolinas. And that's the situation they're dealing with there, particularly in people's minds, the concerns around Hainan, which occurred 5 years ago. Now, anywhere between 6,000 and 8,500 people were either killed or unaccounted for in that, and that is their concern, so fresh in their memory. This is a country that is, let's face it, ill-prepared to deal with this. These are structures that are ill-prepared to deal with the force of the winds that they're expected. We're going to listen to an aid worker as he describes as they get ready. Have a listen.
As I look outside, it's just nobody's there, and it's very eerie. And you know, the rain is just pouring and the wind is howling. I myself was a witness of the devastation of the people back in Tacloban City, and I'm just hoping and praying hard that the same tragedy that struck us 5 years ago won't happen here.
One other element to consider in this, there are thousands of people who are stranded, people who are hoping to make it home because of the use of ferries in that area, and they are sheltering in place as best they can in various port cities around the country. Rashmi?
Okay, and as Typhoon Mangkhut keeps heading through the area, we're getting updates about the preparations where it's heading. How are people preparing, John?
This is a situation where the area we're talking about here in the Philippines is some 5.2 million people who are directly in the path of this, but after that, it will head across here then to the Pearl River Delta. We're talking about Hong Kong, Macau, Guangzhou, 120 million people in this area. We can tell you that already in that area, in Guangdong alone, they have, for example, developed some 4,000 shelters for people, 36,000 fishing boats effectively tied up at port, unable to go out because of their concerns. That could be an even more catastrophic situation than they're preparing for in the Philippines. Rashmi?
Thanks, John.
Okay.